I Yeah, so I don't know what happened there. I actually, when we came back in the chat, we were still on the broadcast. And I accidentally hit stop broadcast because I was trying to get it started again. So my bad. uh,
For a second, I
because
thought it
I'm.
was someone rated our stream.
Oh yeah, yeah. Given I guess you have a bit of a history with that.
A little bit, yeah.
Not exactly unprecedented, but no, it was just weird. It just dropped us for no reason, and I looked, my connection, I got full bar, so I don't know why it happened.
Yeah,
But hey, you never know, technology.
yeah. Technology.
So anyway, I just wanted to follow up. I was going to ask you a couple more questions. So what
Sure.
originally inspired you to become a YouTuber?
Oh, well, it wasn't like it definitely wasn't always political stuff. I've always been a creative person for as long as I can remember. I know, um, I know I know I used to watch those music videos that someone would do, like arrange clips of like different anime or video game footage to like a music video. I used to watch that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. And then
Cool.
like I had my ideas like for like certain games or yeah, like it started out with like some video games like songs
You
that would
ever
match the character.
RPG Maker?
Hmm?
You ever use RPG Maker?
Oh, no, well, I sort of played around with it once, but I never used it. Never really used it.
Played. Yeah, I never made a game with it, but I played around with it too. I just thought it was super awesome to, make your own game.
Yeah, there are a few different software things where you could like make your own game. Even like 3D, not just 2D. But
Yeah,
I don't really have
RP,
time. I don't really
yeah,
have
RPG
time to
Maker was
really get into it.
so you used to make music videos.
Yeah, yeah, it was like it started off with some music videos like the first one was like I've been a Sonic fan and there's this song um that reminded me of Shadow the Hedgehog. Um and I put that song to like cool Shadow the Hedgehog pictures. And then
Sweet.
yeah, and then there was like a
I'm sorry,
Star Fox one, really cool Star
my
Fox.
my my cat my cat is here, literally trying to rip down every wire that I have hooked up to this
Bad kitty.
cat, and it's a black cat too,
Yeah,
which makes it even worse. Black cats are bad luck.
not all.
Pretty sure that's why. I'm pretty sure that's why the stream
That's
went
just
down earlier, because you have a black cat avatar, plus I have a black cat in the room, and like the double bad luck action is like,
it's just superstition.
oh yeah, yeah, just jump up on the table, yeah, and rub your ass on everything. I hate this cat. I absolutely hate this cat.
Hi, kitty.
It, stereotype if it wasn't true.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm
So,
sorry. All right.
but you had a Star Fox video.
Yeah, it's a Star Fox music video in which I put together the different. It's like sort of like a montage of like different games and stuff. Yeah,
Yo,
and
greatest game ever, by the way.
yeah, yeah. This most of the Star Fox games I've played were pretty good.
Except
And
that weird one with the dinosaurs.
yeah, yeah, that one was okay, but I could never beat it because I kept getting stuck on that one part. Actually still have that game, and I still have my
You know,
GameCube, but I just
coolest
haven't got back to it. Haven't tried again. Yeah.
the one of the coolest anime music videos that I've seen on the internet. Actually, two of them. I have two favorites. The one was when they did Bohemian Rhapsody mixed with clips of Evangelion.
Never
And
heard of that anime.
you never heard of Evangelion? I might not be saying it right, but it's the one where they have like these sort of, they call them angels. These angels come down from outer space, and they're like, they're very weird and very alien, and each one is unique, but they're sort of like deep space entities, you know.
Mhm. Interesting.
It's like they're just like code name angels, and then they have these
Uh,
giant Evangelion robots that are piloted by three kids.
I
Each
think I've
one
heard of
has a
it.
different robot.
I think I've heard
Yeah,
of that. I think
and
I've heard of it.
yeah, it's like really gory and stuff, and like but yeah, they did that with you should look that up. Bohemian Rhapsody anime music video, and it has clips from Evangelion in it. The stream, you will not regret it. In fact, I'll just DM you the link. You're not going to regret seeing this. And
Okay,
then
I'll
the
see that
other,
after the interview is over.
yeah, I'm literally going to link it to you right after this interview is over.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
but the one that I really liked was it was we that Weezer song at the end of their first album. Do you know the one I'm talking about? You ever listen to Weezer?
Yeah, I actually have that first album. It's the it's like a blue background.
Right.
That
Yeah, it's the
title.
Blue album. The Blue
Yeah,
album.
yeah,
I mean, it's just called Weezer, but everybody calls it the
yeah.
Blue one.
Mhm.
But the last song was this sort of like, it was called Only in Dreams. It's kind of
Yeah, I
like this
remember
very
that.
slow melody, but it has like this really great build up at the end.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And they did that mixed with scenes from Cowboy Bebop, which is, in my opinion, the best anime that's ever been, even better than Dragon Ball Z. But
I've seen
that is also.
I've seen a handful of anime over the years, and I have maybe 6 or 7 complete series on DVD and some incomplete ones.
Which ones do you have?
Some of the completed ones I have are there's this one called Razafon. It was the first serious anime that I ever got into. You ever heard of that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was that one, and I've got Elfen Lied. I've got
Oh, nice.
yeah,
That's the one where the chick gets her like head ripped off right in episode 1. I was like,
yeah,
what?
yeah. That gets really bloody, and that's some
Great.
freaky, destructive ghost arms called vectors,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and it
It
gets
was definitely a great gore anime.
yeah, yep. And what else? I'll name one more. Um, there's this interesting one that has like 2D and like 3D CGI mixed in it called Blast Rider, and it gets a little
Uh-huh.
bloody and gets very violent at times. It's got these cool cyborgs, these cool and very violent yet like aggressive monster cyborgs in it. It's like nanotechnology.
Yeah, one of my favorite animes that I thought were particularly gory was, and it was upsetting because they only did one season of it, and it got canceled. They never greenlit another season, but it was Claymore. Have you ever seen that one?
Oh yeah, yeah, I've seen the whole thing of that online, and I actually have one of the volumes on DVD. And before seeing
Yeah.
the anime, I read some of the manga. I actually have some of the manga too.
Oh yeah. Does the manga continue after they have that battle in the north?
Yeah, yeah, I've heard that goes on for like quite a while. It's a really long
Yeah,
manga series.
that's wow. That's cool. Yeah, maybe I should probably get into that one. But I just remember that last battle scene where like you got like the one really powerful chick that's like one of the like the best
Priscilla.
ones, right?
Yeah,
She just
Priscilla.
gets killed with a finger right through her head, like the demon dude like just puts his finger through her brain, just dead.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, man, this song, this anime show had like no mercy. It was so brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, Claymore's pretty good. Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite mangas. Death Note. Oh wow, that's a really good manga. 12
Oh
volume.
yeah, definitely. What did Death Note live action, or did you not see it yet?
I did not see it. I've seen most of the anime, and I've got all the manga, and I've read the prequel novel to the manga. Another Note. Um, with there was this woman, lady cop or detective that was killed by Kira, and she was a friend of Elle's, Misora or something like that. I forget her name exactly, but she was in Another Note. It was like one of the main characters in the story with this serial killer in it.
Yeah. So the thing that I always liked about Death Note is that I always like this like kind of like we've all seen these movies, like whether it's an evil demon or if it's an evil genie or like a demon's paw or something
Yeah.
that's going to grant you wishes, but the wishes are always going to be effed up, right?
Yep.
Because you didn't word them. And
Yeah, you
like we
didn't get
always
it
sit there
right.
and think, yeah, but we always sit there and think, well, what if I had that? Yes, and I could word all the wishes correctly.
Mm.
That that's the premise for Death Note.
Yeah.
If
Yep.
anybody wants to watch this anime, that's basically what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And try to be like it's like the perfect, almost perfect serial killer.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just such a it's such an awesome show. In fact, now you've inspired me. I gotta go watch it again for season one
Yeah.
because it's been like a while since I watched it.
Yeah. I even like in one of my videos from last year. I think it was I think I sort of mentioned a handful of things, and somehow I mentioned a Death Note. Something about playing God. Like when man plays God, then things get messed up. And of course, the hero was like, "I'll be the god of the new world, and I'll get rid of all the nasty criminals, and I'll create the perfect master race of humans," or something like that.
Always trying to make that utopia, you know,
Yeah,
and I think that's a great segue into talking about like our philosophy, being anarcho-capitalist. I think it's interesting that I mean, there's a lot of different ideologies out there, and they all revolve around the existence of a government. Even
yeah,
some ideologies that consider themselves anarchistic revolve around the existence of a government. Communism, for one, is an
yeah,
ideology that claims to be anarchistic but requires a government. And
yeah. Requires a state.
ideology, right? Yeah. Um, and all of these ideologies never seem to work exactly like as advertised in real life. And people always have this lame excuse: "Oh, it's great on paper. In
Yeah,
real life, it doesn't work, right?" And why doesn't it work in real life? Well, because of human nature. Because the flaw isn't in our thinking. The flaw isn't in our ideology. It's in the humans.
yeah,
So every single one of these ideologies always requires that humans be changed, or humans or a certain segment of the population be killed off or moved
mm,
away or transported somewhere else or whatever, or maybe genetically engineered or whatever.
yeah,
I mean, it requires humans to be not human. in order for it to work.
humans to be like conditioned to just not be too different and not think too much and
Mm-hmm.
to be dependent on the central controllers, the central planners.
Public education. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
something in my throat. Yeah.
Define education.
Yeah. University.
Yeah.
But yeah, just everybody's got to be the same, think the same. We got to police your opinions before we can allow you to have a professional career.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because God forbid you wouldn't want somebody that thinks for themselves, being a doctor or an engineer or something.
Yeah, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist now.
Yeah, I met my wife, right?
Uh, no. Well, yeah, I've talked to her.
The first question I asked her was, "Do you like Led Zeppelin?" And she said yes. And then the first question she asked me was, "Do you think 9/11 is an inside job?" And I said yes. At that point, we basically hit it off. Um, but so yeah, I think you're a great YouTuber. I like your videos. I'm
Thank you.
definitely gonna watch more of them in the future. I hope you keep making them.
I plan
Is there
to.
anything awesome? Oh, right. There was one more thing I was going to ask you about. You were telling me earlier that you did have an interesting experience with the government, and it kind of spotlighted sort of like the incompetence of the governmental system. You want to elaborate on
Oh,
that?
incompetence? Yeah, okay, sure. Well, this was this went on for quite a while, for 2 years. Like, I was never given a social security card. I had a social security number that was used in, like, within the school system, that showed up on my report card. But for some reason I never had a social security card. And, well, for one thing, I guess didn't need it because I was just in my own business. And um there was like a catch 22. Like, I had like an expired ID, and I could not get that without certain proof of like working for someone, some type of form, or if I was like a worker within the government, or if I
And
was like from the military. But I was in neither of those things, and I could not get like it was like I could not get like the social security card without current photo ID. So it took me a while to figure out, like, what alternative is there? Like, how do I apply to be able to get to a part-time job? And
and by the way, none of this would have even been an issue if the IRS hadn't shut down your parents or your
yeah,
uh,
well,
bookstore
if we didn't have to shut it down because of financial
Mhm.
problems.
that you were basically self-employed for
Yeah,
all that time.
yeah,
It's perfectly self-employed that entire time.
yeah, yeah. And it was just, I swear, the some of these government workers or agents must work for the circus because of all the clowning around that they do. Like, the DMV was not helpful to me at all. They just could not really be straightforward enough, or um, or really just really help me out. The when I had there was this one time in which, well, I had to get a copy of my medical records, and um and I had like some questions I wanted to ask. So I sent an email, and the response came within a week, that they suggested for me to call them. And so at a certain time of the month or whatever, so I did that. I called and I did the tried to get a hold of one of the agents and following the robocall directions, and no one was available.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's just the perfect example. You know, it kind of reminders, like, have you ever seen like that movie like Jupiter Rising, where like it was a really dumb movie with Miley Kunis, but um, there's this part where she finds out she like inherited a planet. Not to spoil anything, but she finds out she inherited a planet, and she has to go through like all these like bureaucratic rules, right? And she's going around and around in a circle, sometimes going back to the same again without ever actually getting what she came there for.
Yeah.
And because it was like this weird right. And until eventually the person that was assisting her got to some guy in the basement of some office, like that's like never seen the light of day. And he's like, look, man, slip you some money and you're just going to give us this form. And then they were able, because of that, to go back and get all the other forms they needed in order to go back to the first place they were to get the form that they originally went for.
Jeez. All that running around.
In the end, the only way to get it was to find somebody they could bribe.
Mm.
How was your situation resolved finally, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I finally got my medical records and I handed them in, and the lady looked at it, and there was no problem. All I had to do was just show my medical records.
Yeah, and they couldn't have told you that earlier?
Yeah, like the last time that I tried to get before the last time I called him, the guy just said, "Get a note from the doctor." I'm like, okay, but that wasn't enough.
Yeah, and you know the interesting thing about this whole situation is that you need this social security number to basically function in our society, and you have to go through all these hoops as an American citizen to get one. Where,
Yeah.
by the way, illegally cross our southern border,
Mm.
and they basically just get handed one of these pieces of paper by like a Democratic Party operative, like, and they don't have
Yeah.
to jump through any hoops, you know. So that just tells you right there that it pays to be a lawbreaker sometimes. You
Yeah.
know, they they basically get they can work for whatever wage that they want, and they can get all the government benefits they want, and you know, it's just. But if you actually try to follow the rules, you know, you get screwed by the system,
Yeah.
is what I found.
Yeah, it's
And
backwards thinking.
yeah,
Backwards.
it's kind of like following the rules is for chumps. And
Hmm.
but the interesting thing about social security numbers is that when they originally started issuing social security cards back in like whenever FDR was president and the whole New Deal thing,
Yeah.
they promised that they would never ever use these social security cards as a way to identify people. Like you wouldn't need it to get a job, you wouldn't need it to get a driver's license, you wouldn't need to. The only reason you had one, government benefits. That's the only use a social security card to have. Well,
Well, look how that turned out.
oh, I mean, it was an absolute total lie because they started requiring it for this, that, and the other as soon as they issued them. They started requiring social security cards for everything. They required it so that they could start collecting an income tax because a lot of people don't know this, but before the New Deal, we never actually had an income tax. There was no income tax. That
Hmm.
was something that came whole New Deal thing. I mean, we did have it before, but it was more like a provisional tax that they only did like when we were at war to pay for the war effort. And I mean, nobody ever actually, paid the tax, you
Yeah.
know, unless you were like a big enough business where you couldn't hide your income.
Mhm.
But yeah, we never had on the books income tax before the New Deal. And I hope somebody out there fact checks me on that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Hmm. Yeah, I might look into that myself. I know not long ago I started this book by this guy who was part of the American Liberty League, in which were a group of Democrats and Republicans and some wealthy people that opposed the New Deal legislation. They were constitutionalists, pretty much supported the Constitution, and they said that the New Deal was unconstitutional. And the guy, Raoul E. Desvernine, his book is titled Democratic Despotism.
I'm sorry, what was the title?
Yeah, so I intend to read more of that.
I'm sorry, what did you say the title was?
Democratic Despotism.
Democratic Despotism. Yeah, that definitely. I'm writing that down right now.
Yeah, Raoul, Raoul, and then E as an initial of his middle name, and then
Mm-hmm.
Desvernine, Desvernine. I think that's spelled. It's an old book.
Democratic
Des-
Despotism.
yeah,
Yo, so when you finish reading the book, you should definitely, one, do a video about it, but two,
yeah,
you should definitely come back on my show and give us a full book report.
sure. Yeah, I already started note taking on it. I've finished up to reading to chapter 2, and I actually did some notes on just background info on the American Liberty League in general.
Cool. That sounds absolutely fascinating. I can't wait till you come back and tell me all about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to wrap it up here.
Oh,
I'm your host, The Wasp. Thank you, everybody who's listening, whoever is listening, or, well, I can see we have 0 viewers. So who's ever listening in the future, uh, I thank you for giving us your time. And again, you can check me out at thewaspreport.com, where you can listen to all of my episodes, and you can sign up for my email list. And also, thank you to ANCAP Kitty, where you can find her. Where can we find you?
on Twitter, uh, on YouTube, gab.ai, wrongthink.net. I think that's all of them. Yeah, that's all of them.
Yeah, and that's tonight's show. ANCAP Kitty, thanks again. I really appreciate you being on here
Yeah, it
with
was
me.
fun.
And have a great night and stay free.